We're now live, Chair.
Thank you very much, Sam. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Councillor Ranjit Deer, Chair of the committee. It's gone 7 and I think we should make a start. So can I welcome all of you to this meeting, virtual meeting, albeit we haven't met in person for a long time, but I hope all of you and your families are safe and well. Turning to the agenda, the first item on the agenda is apologies for absence.
I've received apologies from Councillor Darmy and Councillor Rice just joining the meeting now, and I can see that Councillor Jammu is not present yet, Chair.
Right. Thank you. Councillor Rye, welcome to the meeting. And the second item on the agenda is urgent matters. Are there any urgent matters? None that I know.
No urgent matters.
Okay. Item number 3, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from members?
Yes, Chair. I think just to be transparent and open, I should declare that I am a trustee of Pitshanger Manor and Gallery, only recently appointed this summer. But I just think it's worth declaring just to make clear and transparent the position.
Thank you, Councillor Shaw. Any other declarations of interest? No. Thank you. And number 4, matters to be considered in private. None that I know of. Number 5, minutes of the meeting held on 19th of September 2017. Now, if you look at the minutes, the only 2 members from tonight's meeting who were present in the meeting on 19th of September 2017 are Councillor Shaw and myself. So is this a correct record of the meeting held in 2017 on 19th of September, Councillor Shaw?
It is, to the best of my recollection, yes.
And same with me. So
yes, I'm happy to agree those minutes, Chair.
Well, thank you very much. So it is a correct record of the meeting held on 19th of September 2017. Thank you. And number 6, the substantive item is honorary freeman and honorary alderman. Now, if you turn to this item, you will notice that we're proposing a total of 5 names for the honor of freeman of the borough and 1 name for the honor of an honorary alderman of the borough. Now, I believe that whips of all parties have been consulted and there's a broad agreement on these names, but members may wish to make comments or ask questions. But before we do that, can I ask our head of democratic services, Mr. Bailey, to present a short report on the honorary freeman and honorary alderman matters from our standing orders. Sam, could you take us through those, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, happy to do so. The Council has the power to appoint honorary freemen and honorary aldermen under Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972. Honorary aldermen have to be past councillors, no longer serving their term of office, who have rendered eminent services to the borough. Honorary freemen have to be persons of distinction who had, in the opinion of the authority, rendered eminent services to the place or area. So that's the criteria within the Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972. In addition to this framework laid out by the legislation, the council has adopted its own policy to help members decide on what constitutes eminent services. These can be found in appendices 1 and 2 to the report on pages 13 and 15 in the agenda pack. Following consultation with the party whips, 5 prominent local people have been judged to be worthy of nomination to become honorary freemen of the borough, and 1 past councillor was judged to be worthy of being nominated as an honorary alderman. The proposed honorary aldermen and honorary alderwomen are Bukayo Saka, Dr. Hugh Mather, Sir Sherard Cowper-Coles, Marion Garnett and Maggie Pound. The proposed honorary alderman to be nominated is Swarm Kang. Further details of the honorary freemen can be found in the agenda pack. There's a brief outline of their achievements and the reason why they've been nominated. In order to confer the honours to the nominees, Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972 sets out that a special council meeting is required to be convened specifically for this purpose, and not less than 2/3 of the members present are required to vote in favour of the nominations. Due to the number of nominees, along with the capacity constraints in the public gallery in the chamber due to social distancing, it was not considered practical to hold a meeting before a regular council meeting, and instead a suitable date should be identified in consultation with party whips to hold a special council meeting to confer the honours. A small reception is also recommended to be held to celebrate the nominees being given their honours, and they would also be issued with a frame certificate, and for honorary freemen and honorary free women, a badge of office. So the report before you asks you to make the proposed nominations for honorary freemen, honorary free women and honorary aldermen, and to agree that a special meeting held on a separate date to a regular council meeting be called in order to confer the honours onto the nominees. So over to you, Chair. I'm happy to answer any questions from the committee on what I've set out there.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. So turning to those names one by one, if you look at the agenda paper, under 2.3, we have a recommendation about Bukayo Saka. No, 2.4. And in 2.5, Dr. Hugh Mather. 2.6, Sir Sherard Cooper-Coles. 2.7, Marion Garnett. And 2.8, Maggie Pound. So those are the 5 honorary freemen and honorary free women that are being proposed to the committee. Are there any questions, comments on these 5 recommendations? As I've said, that group whips have met. There's a broad agreement about all these 5 names. So this is the time if anybody wishes to make any comments.
Councillor Shaw has got his hand up, Chair.
Councillor Shaw?
Yes, thank you, Chair. In addition to the items that are in the pack, I have also sent further information to members of the committee that I'm happy to speak to a little bit, if you would like, just for the nominations for Marion Garnett and Maggie Pound. The details that were included in the agenda pack that was published were sort of fairly limited, as that was the information we had at the time.
Yeah, that would be helpful, Councillor Shaw, if you could add, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So for Marion Garnett has been living in the borough since she was in her early 20s, and she first started organising an annual animal welfare event in May 1978. It was called the Ecology and Animal Welfare Bazaar and was held at the Princess Room at Ealing Town Hall, and was a tremendous success, attended by many groups from nearby and within the borough. Over the years, the event has grown substantially. It's been booked into various other rooms. First of all, the Queen's Room as it grew, and as it grew even larger, it ended up in the Victoria Hall at the Town Hall. It remained at the town hall until 2010, and then as it continued to expand and multiple rooms were then needed for the variety of speakers and stalls and displays that were on, it was decided to move it to Hanwell Methodist Church. It's continued there and has taken various names. It changed its name to incorporate the word Ealing and then became the Ealing Animal Welfare Bazaar. When considering the change of the name, it was important that the fair was formally associated with Ealing because it had been home in Ealing for so long. It is now known as the Ealing Animals Fair, and the 43rd fair is booked to take place in March 2022. Ealing has a large number of animal welfare and environmental charities all in one place that have supported this over the years. It's always been well attended by local people and those from across West London and even further afield from London and beyond. Admission to the fair is free. Over the years, the fair's raised thousands of pounds rather, not hundreds of pounds. It's done far better than that, my mistake. And in all these years, Marion Garnett has been the organiser on a voluntary basis. She has set up a community interest company, Thinking of Animals CIC, as well to help develop this, and is further developing the fair that has supported many eminent speakers and people in the areas of animal welfare and animal rights. Marion has also, for a long time, for over 10 years now, written and still does write a column in the local press about animal rescue. She's covered various issues within animal welfare and rescue over a long time for the borough, and I think it's something that everyone is very pleased and proud of.
Thank you.
Yes. And if I could now just turn briefly to Maggie Pound, with your permission, Chair.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So Maggie Pound moved into Ealing in the late 1970s and has had children and raised them here, and they went to local schools. She started off running a toddlers club that was attached to Our Lady in St Joseph's Church and was chair of the Parent Teachers Association at St Joseph's School. During this time, she's also worked for Hanwell Neighbourly Care and has run pop-in centres at both St Mary's Church Hall and St Christopher's Church. Beyond that, Maggie has also worked on the magistrates' bench, being appointed in 1985, initially sitting in Ealing and Acton. More recently, as people may be aware, the courts have been reorganised and include the boroughs of Hillingdon and Hounslow now. All the cases are dealt with at either Ealing or Uxbridge Court, and Maggie is currently sitting in the Adult and Youth Court. Maggie's been a school governor for over 20 years and involved with several schools in the borough. She's currently the chair of governors at Mount Carmel School and vice chair at Cardinal Wiseman School. She's been a vice chair of governors at Coston School and a chair of governors at St Vincent's School. She is a national leader of governance, which means that she is able to carry out a review of governance and support governing bodies where they need it, or provide training for them if it is needed, and has done on numerous occasions. In a recent New Year's Honours list, Maggie was awarded the MBE for her services for education. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Shaw.
Yeah.
Right, yes. Councillor Rye, is there?
Yes, may I just add something to that, please?
Please do.
Yeah, just to say that I really welcome all the nominations tonight. I'm particularly pleased to see that Maggie Pound has been included in the list. Always good to see women coming forward and being recognised for the work that they do. And I know that Maggie's work has been tireless over the years. in both all the things that Councillor Shaw has mentioned, as well as supporting her husband to provide good service for the local community. In terms of Saka, I would just like to add that I think this is an excellent recommendation. He has achieved so much at such a young age, international level, club level, Tottenham. Perhaps I would have preferred him to have played for Brentford, but here you go. However, the fact that he's been nominated today, and if the committee agrees, I think it sends out a very, very positive signal message to everybody in terms of how inclusive Ealing is as a borough. And I'm delighted that, as a former lead member for education, that he attended one of our schools, Greenford High School. And I think this is testament to an inclusive education that we provide in this borough. Thank you, Chair. Thank
you, Councillor Rai. Councillor Rai, I wholeheartedly agree with your remarks. On Bukoya Saka, he's the son of Ealing. He went to local school. He's a great football player and has brought credit to the country. And as the report says, that we honor our heroes, we don't boo them. And I think it's a shame that he was treated very disgracefully by a very small, tiny number of people. But that apart, I think we are greatly happy to confer this honor on Bukoya Saka. I also know Dr. Hugh Mather personally, and I have attended many of his operas at St. Barnabas and St. Mary's Church. And I think he's done wonderful service to music and to the residents in the borough. And as you know, it's mentioned in the agenda papers that he's carried on with this even during the pandemic. And I think that's a wonderful service. I didn't really know very much about classical Western music and operas, and I think it's an interest that I developed on attending a couple of meetings at St. Mary's in the last few years. Maggie Pound, I know because I've been a magistrate at Ealing Court for 32 years, and then Maggie has rendered distinguished service to magistracy and to education. Mm-hmm. And I support Marion Garnett as somebody who takes interest in animal welfare. I think together with Sir Sherard Cooper-Coles, who's worked for the gallery, and Pitsanger Manor has been really exemplary. So all in all, happy to support all the 5 nominations. Do we then agree to recommendation number 1 to confer our highest honor of honorary freemen and honorary freewomen on all the 5 nominees? Is that agreed?
Very happy to agree.
Chair.
Yeah.
Yes,
may I make a correction? I think I have accidentally said that Saka played for Tottenham. What I meant was Arsenal. We all know he plays for Arsenal. Just want to correct that and put it on the record.
He is Arsenal, yes. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And turning to number 2, which is about the honor of honorary freemen, and Councillor Soren Singh Kang's name has been proposed. I've known Councillor Soren Kang for...
Sorry, Chair, I think you mean honorary alderman, don't you?
Alderman, yes, sorry. We are now Councillor Young, yes. Honorary alderman.
You said freeman by mistake.
I'm sorry, I apologize. No, I'm sorry. We're talking about honorary alderman now. And I was saying that I've known Councillor Kang for certainly 40 years. And he's involved in many areas of public life in Southall, including education. And he's worthy of this award. And so I would support that nomination. Are there any other comments about Councillor Kang?
No, very happy to support his nomination.
Splendid. Well, thank you very much. So we agree with number 2 that we confer this honor of honorary alderman on Councillor Swaran Singh Kag. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. And moving on to number 3, that a special meeting be held on a different date, one to a regular council meeting in order to confer these honors on the nominees. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed, Chair.
Okay. So that's agreed, and that completes our agenda for the meeting today. Colleagues, thank you very much for your attendance. I hope we haven't taken too much of your time in the evening. And thank you once